All right, y'all, how you doing? I don't know why the Facebook Live has me so large. I'm trying to take a step back. It's like bigger than usual. Anyway, I want to talk to you today about something that my guess is you experience as well. Resistance showing up and questioning, is this fear or is this self-respect? And then maybe getting in your head or not having clarity about it and then pushing through because that's what you've always done and that's what we've been taught. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about that. Resistance is information. It doesn't have to mean that you're living from fear, although sometimes it can. It gives us a place to guide, and it's an opportunity to get really curious with yourself about what does this resistance mean? And is it from a place of like self-respect, alignment, or is this information that there's fear here and a healing opportunity? The way I look at any kind of trigger or anything that activates you is that it is a gateway to deeper healing. I know that it's not fun when things come up and push our buttons or when we're having a lot of resistance about something, but it's like I said, it's information. So, good sign that maybe there is fear-based resistance is that there's this shoulding on yourself. Like, I should do that, I have to do that. And I want you to start to be onto yourself when that happens. I get it that it feels very true with a capital T. And in a majority of cases, there are other options. But when we are in that fear response, we don't see other options. They don't feel accessible. I get it. I've been there. So is there a sense of shoulding on yourself or should not on yourself? That's a good sign that there's some judgment coming in. Another thing to note if the resistance is fear-based is how does it feel in the body? You probably hear that word often nowadays. It's a buzzword, the somatic healing, somatic work. And our body gives us real-time information. And what can happen is we get in our head and we overanalyze it. But if we can just really tune in and get curious and honor what's showing up in the body, that can also give us information. So fear a lot of times is going to might feel heavy, it might feel constricted, it might feel like I need to do something, like being pulled forward, and also like I can't do anything at all, like this sense of freeze. And that can be fear. And here's the thing, there's no shame in either of these. One isn't better than the other. Again, it's information. What could this resistance be about? So that we can better know ourselves and then better support ourselves and experience elevated well-being. So when it's a sense of, oh, actually this is in alignment, this feels like self-respect, there's going to be a calmer inner dialogue happening. You might feel a little more settled in the body. There's not this intense sense of urgency going on there. So that can be a sign that actually this is self-respect. And so what are some things that can support you in getting clarity on this? Because if this is a first time practice for you discerning, is this resistance more fear-based or is this more self-respect, alignment? And here's the thing, a lot of times we've been programmed to push through our body signals, push through our nose, feeling like, all right, I have to do this or else. And there are times in our life that may be true, and again, it might not actually really be true anymore. True with a capital T, right? I don't want to say that there's no truth in it at all. I'll give you an example. A client of mine got invited by a friend to go out of town. She'd had a really busy work week, lots of things going on with her kids, with her parents. She did not want to go out of town. In her body, it felt like a no. It felt like I don't have the capacity to do that. I want to spend this weekend. I want to meal prep, she was saying. I want to spend some time for myself. I haven't had any time for myself. I'd like to get in a walk on Saturday morning. There was this sense of self-respect that felt like clarity. It felt calm in the body. And then there was the other part that was like, I should go with my friend. My friend's been having a hard time. My friend is there when I need her. I should do this. If I don't do this, I'm a bad friend. This is what friends do. They go out of town. But mind you, her authentic answer was no, I don't want to go. I don't really have the capacity this weekend. I need to recharge. There's a lot of other things I need to do. and she went ahead and she went with her friend. And it was a shit show, needless to say. And so our work together was really exploring, what does a yes feel like in the body, and what does a no feel like in the body, and how can we meet ourselves where we're at? Because it can feel really scary to say no to a friend, in the sense that there's connection there. There's a sense of intimacy. There's a sense of trust. And we have all of these shoulds and all of this past programming that says you have to show up all the time for your friends. And other options here could be, she could talk to her friend, share with her friend, hey, I know you really have been going through a lot. I appreciate our friendship. I love you. And I just really, for my own self, I need to stay home this weekend. I need to get my meals in order. I want to walk tomorrow. I want to sleep in. Can we reschedule and go out to dinner on Wednesday night? So these are just a real-time story to see how fear of maybe losing the friend, fear of looking bad, the people pleaser in us can show up. And again, no shame in this. We're wired for survival. We learn this programming throughout our life, and there is no like definitive, this is the right way. But I want you to start to be aware of how things feel in your body. How does it feel in your mind when there's this sense of alignment, this sense of like self-honoring, self-respect? Another thing that can show up is different parts of us, right? This is something I work with clients on at parts work and also inner child work. There's parts of us that can speak up and have their opinion, and the more we can start to create space for ourselves and listen to these parts of us. Because what do we do a lot of times is like, this isn't convenient. This is not convenient to feel fear. This is not convenient to not to want to go to this event tonight that everybody is going to. I don't have time for that. And we push through, we override our system. That's how burnout happens, right? That's how we get disconnected from ourselves. That's how all kinds of things contribute to poor quality of life at the end of the day, right? We override our needs. We're not can be so disconnected from our needs. So we want to start to listen, and we want to start to give ourselves space to hear out these different parts, because we all have them, right? There's not just this one single mind that's us, right? There is this sense of higher self or consciousness or soul, whatever word you want to use. There's different definitions and ideas about that. But then there's other parts of us that show up that might want to protect us. There's parts of us that want to avoid life. There's parts of us that think we need to work all the time or be busy, or that our value is only based on productivity. And so what we want to do is we want to start to get to know those different flavors of ourselves and give them space to share, give them space to express, hold space for them, just like you are an amazing adult that you are, and respond in life and respond to those parts from that adult self, from that higher self. But what happens is these parts, if we don't pay attention to them, they show up and they take over and they hijack the system, right? And a lot of times it's at the most inconvenient time, right? So that's one thing. And again, coming back to the body. So please let me know if this resonates with you. Has there been a time where you felt resistance and you realized, you know what? This doesn't feel in alignment for me. This doesn't feel authentic. And this resistance is giving me information that I don't need to do this, or that I do need to do this, or that this is what's best for me. And when is a time that you felt fear show up and it felt like this heavy burden, this heavy responsibility, this shoulding, this constriction, this heaviness, this sense of urgency, and how did you navigate that? So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Brittany Cano, Holistic Nurse Coaches. I work with women who are experiencing overwhelm, maybe experiencing burnout, and they're tired of it. They're ready to reclaim their energy, reclaim their health, and really have that sense of coming back to themselves and living from a place that feels self-honoring. So I look forward to connecting with you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.